Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Chelsea 3, Leeds 1. Chelsea go top of the table, at least for tonight, after beating Leeds 3-1, coming from a goal down early on. Big performance, a stressful game to watch. I think we all knew Leeds, they're such a unique opposition. They're going to put you under pressure. But I felt once again, Chelsea's resilience. It was a bit like the Sheffield United performance in a sense, especially that first half, going 1-0 down early in the game, but responding really well. And I felt tactically in the second half, Lampard definitely altered a few things round. I felt we really stopped Leeds in that second half, getting up the pitch. And eventually we got the 3 points right at the end there. That Pulisic goal rounding off the victory. Great to see Lampard celebrating. Great to see Chelsea fans back inside the stadium. You really felt that tonight. You felt the players were sort of boosted by that, especially in the later moments where we had to defend a little bit. It's great for them. A big win over Leeds. Lampard beating Bielsa once again, and I could tell that Lampard really enjoyed that as well. It's hard not to get excited about this Chelsea team because that's a pretty decent Leeds side. You know, they gave Liverpool a really tough game on the opening day of the season. They drew with City not long after that. So they're going to be a difficult team this season. And Chelsea, once again, proving they have resilience, proving we can get through difficult periods within games, and proving we've just got that clinical edge to get the job done, especially from set pieces. I got my starting lineup right. It's not that difficult at the moment to get starting lineups wrong, to be honest. I think the big debate point would have been around who starts up front. Of course, Olivier Giroud retaining his place from midweek after scoring 4 goals. Ziyech and Werner alongside him. Kai Havertz back in the midfield 3 with Kante and Kova, and of course the usual back 5 back in the team after being rested, or at least the back 4 being rested in midweek against Sevilla. It seemed to be starting well from Chelsea, and something I said before the game, I felt that Chelsea would get a lot of chances in this game, and I felt certain players could really flourish today. But of course, falling behind early to a Patrick Bamford, I mean, it just knew it was going to happen, didn't it? Patrick Bamford returning to Chelsea, scoring. It's a very good goal, but I did say in my team selector, Calvin Phillips, you know, really shutting down the passing and vision of Calvin Phillips. It was a wonderful goal, really a well orchestrated goal. But then looking at it at half time, you know, I felt that maybe Zouma, who redeemed himself later in the game in terms of scoring a goal, but just there, seeing movement wise, you know, going for a ball that wasn't really there to be won, and then Mendy hesitating a little bit. You know, we've seen such sort of structure and calmness back there. So it was a little bit of moment of indecision there, and of course Leeds capitalised. But I felt once again, a bit like the game against Sheffield United, this Chelsea team can react very positively. Now, it's weird looking at Bielsa's Leeds. I always think you get your best judgment when they play your team, right? That's when you can really judge a team that are playing your team. And I felt Bielsa's Leeds, it's so weird. In terms of defensively, one of the most shaky and almost chaotic defences I've seen come up against Chelsea this season. Just in terms of the amount of times they gave the ball away in dangerous areas. It's lopsided, it really is, in terms of, you can tell why they're such an attacking side, because they cannot sit back and just defend. They haven't got that structure, that sort of calmness back there. Many times Chelsea could have scored way more, just, you know, suicidal balls. And that's the type of football, sort of the extroverted, expressive football that Bielsa instills. But I did feel that style of football really sort of almost risky at the back could help Chelsea tonight. And Olivier Giroud back in the Premier League starting 11, scoring from a Reece James cross. Somehow Chelsea hadn't scored before then. You know, Timo Werner somehow not scoring tonight. It's just not going for him at the moment in front of goal. I don't know how Chelsea didn't equalise before then, but great to see Reece James cross into the box, setting up the goal for Olivier Giroud. I mean, classic Giroud goal. That's what you have him in the team for, and it's a vindication for Giroud. It's a vindication for Lampard, putting him in the team and him scoring the leveller in the game. Also, Hakim Ziyech was slightly involved in that goal, but unfortunately Ziyech being forced off injured, and that's a concern, you know, as we've just got a fully fit squad and Ziyech has to go off. It looked like he was holding his hamstring. Now, of course, whenever you see a hamstring injury, you think a month, and if it's going to be a month as long as that, you know, thinking about Christmas period, it's such a key period for Chelsea. Let's hope not, because he's been such an impressive and important player for Chelsea so far this season. So he had to come off, but Christian Pulisic did come on the pitch, and I did feel the pace of Pulisic could definitely help Chelsea against the defensive Leeds, basically. It was a very stressful first half. My issues going into half-time was we had certain chances, whether that was through Werner, Ziyech, Giroud, not taking them, apart from Giroud, the equaliser. But, you know, in terms of the unique Leeds team, you know, the pressing, attacking intensity, I felt we lacked not just invention in midfield, it seemed intensity in midfield. It felt like our midfield in that first half was being bypassed far too easily. Them getting into the wings, them getting out wide, being able to attack from wide, which is what Leeds do. We know that's what they're going to do. I actually felt on the night both Ben Chilwell and Reece James dealt with those threats very well, but from Alioski and Rafinha. But I just think in the midfield battle, Kante wasn't really imposing himself in that first half. Neither was Mount's sort of energy or Kai. I felt had quite a sluggish game tonight, and we were really struggling. But at half time, clearly something changed because Chelsea took control of the game. They really did, and we probably should have scored the second before we actually did. Once again, Chelsea from set pieces, really imposing this year, really threatening. And Kurt Zouma leaping like a salmon. That leap that Kurt Zouma has is absolutely deadly. And for years, I did think that Kurt could be such a devastating player in the box from corners, and he was today once again. A lovely header, dominant header, big goal for Chelsea at that point. There were tense moments, but Leeds never got into the same flow and never got the same space they did in the first half, and I think it showed you the improvement we've had. Somehow, once again, as I said earlier in the video, Timo Werner not scoring tonight. I think credit is due for Meisner in goal, making some key stops for Leeds, especially from Timo Werner, but somehow Timo not getting the goal I think he deserved tonight based on his movement. But of course, shaky moments later on, not shaky but nervy, I think, just going into those final minutes, added time, still 2-1, a goal lead. You're always concerned going into those moments. It felt like quite a cagey big game as well. As you go into those final minutes, you think this can be a really big win for Chelsea. Once again, character boosting win against a really decent side. Thiago Silva going down, and there was that concern we'd made 3 subs. Thiago would have to come off the pitch and we'd be left with 10 men. Luckily, he soldiered on, and Chelsea finally wrapping up the victory in the final seconds. Timo Werner bursting through, had the vision, found Christian Pulisic. Pulisic, is that his first goal so far this season? Lovely to see Pulisic score that goal. It's a big moment. Frank Lampard celebrating, the team celebrating. So we go top of the league at least for a short period of time until Tottenham and Liverpool play. But I think you've got to celebrate at the moment Frank Lampard's team. They're doing really well. There are moments like tonight where I see the team go through difficult moments, and you compare sort of the reaction to those moments last season and how the team, too often under Lampard last season, the momentum swings were too drastic. This season, you feel that there is a level-headedness to this team. There is much more maturity in the team and resilience to us. We can go through difficult moments. We can be confronted by a difficult opponent, but we can get through those challenges. Compared to last season, where I felt in similar moments, Chelsea would have really struggled. But those are my thoughts on tonight's big win. Please let me know yours in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonofChelsea, and I'll see you again.